This is so very exciting. Hi, kids. We have some fun and excitement for you today. Here's the plan. We're going to get on with Mike in Missouri, and we have a letter of intent sent out. We have done the thing where we cold called the landlord's agent. We have an exquisite deal ahead of us, and we have some more finalization in order to get that lease in Mike's hands. And then Mike is going to have himself a free laundromat and tons of work ahead of him, which I am here to help with. We retool these stores. We don't pay for the infrastructure. We certainly don't pay for the business rights or the non-existent goodwill that a lot of people do. If you're new here, welcome. The way we do the lives, jump into the chat, ask some questions, and at some point I will get to those questions. Now, we're going to talk to Scott, who's in the same boat, essentially. We're preparing to draft a lease in upstate California. Lastly, I'm going to save that for last. We're going to speak to an accidental business broker in Compton. So that's what you see is the headline here, because we are going to tear apart a broker who's trying to sell a building for $3.9 million and or a laundromat that sits within that building for $300,000. Now, on paper, some of this may make sense to you, to the broker. It certainly makes sense to people that buy laundromats every single day in this country and the world. But when you dig and delve a little deeper into the nitty-gritty and you start to look at profit and loss statements, what you're going to be potentially earning, when will you ever recoup the cost of that $300,000 price tag, etc., the veneer starts to crack and it starts to make far less sense, fiscally and otherwise. And that's where I started 20 years ago. I bought a $300,000 laundromat for $250,000, and I thought I was shaving 50 grand off of the price. Hey, a t-shirt costs $9.99, you're able to get it for $4.99, 50% whacked off, right? Well, you can wear the t-shirt. You can turn it into a hat. It's a thing. It's a tangible. Businesses, I'm sure there are great businesses that you can buy for X. But the price tag had better goddamn well make sense when it comes to the profit. The issue with laundries is, first and foremost, number one, the people buying them don't know how they work. The preponderance of the people buying laundromats have never even been in one. Let that sink in. Now, I'm not saying you'd be a better restaurateur because you know how to eat steak, but you might be. I'm not saying you should run a resort because you know what a soft bed feels like, but it might work better. The typical laundromat buyer is 50 plus years old. They've lived a life. They've saved the entirety of that life, and they decide that they want to own an absentee turnkey business, and they fall on laundromats, then they fall on a business broker's website, then they fall on their sword. I did it. Most of the people that I know that are in this business, that are sticking with it, did it, not the ones that found me early, like you are. This is a phenomenal business. It's fantastic as long as you have the thousands of questions answered in your mind before you step foot out the door and start. That is why I am here. More and more my clients are asking me, why do you do this? Because more and more my lifestyle is slipping out. The fact that I live very comfortably, not from YouTube, not from consulting. I don't need this. So that question means the world to me. Why do you do it? Because I understand the impetus for the question. And the answer is because I don't want to see you lose. I'm the only voice of reason in this industry. Fight me. I'm passionate about this. I consulted with a surgeon today. He kept telling me how money is great. Then why do you want to do this? He acted as though that call, that consultation, that phone call was me trying to sell him something. So he asked a lot of very pointed questions about me calling landlords, what I charge, why I said, look, dude, let me ask you one question. Clear your mind. When you saw my fee, what did you think? And he started to go into a lengthy diatribe the way lawyers and doctors do. I said, stop. What did you think when you saw my fee? And he said, well, I thought it was cheap, inexpensive, not what I am worthy of. And I explained, Doc, I charge that because of the bellhops, the single moms, and the truck drivers that I have helped become millionaires. You know who you are. I'm not a saint. I charge a few dollars, but it's preposterous. And the other issue is this: who else is going to do it for you? If you buy a laundromat through a business broker, that broker isn't going to negotiate your lease. And if he even helps with the process, he's not on your side. He's in cahoots with the landlord because, kids, we are talking about one simple process: signing a lease in rented space where a laundromat exists, where the hundreds of thousands of dollars in infrastructure is there. And then, yes, we retool the store. Oh, nothing's free. Fuck off. The business rights, the infrastructure, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gas, water, electric, the signage, the ADA compliant restroom, it's all yours. We are going to call Mike and see what he has to say. Enjoy. Make sure you stick to the end because it's going to get real good. I know it.
Danny,
how'd you know it was me?
I don't know, man. Lucky guess.
All right. Where are we at? What are we doing? What's on the docket?
The docket. These jackasses. So you need a refresher.
I always do.
I know you're busy. Okay.
Never too busy for you. I don't leave space in my brain pan for this stuff because you're always going to tell me what's happening.
Right. I don't blame you at all. So first question though, when I put on my email, do I have to have 3-phase electric?
No.
Okay. You said it. I watched your video with Joe in California, and you said something about it, and it struck a thing. Anyway, okay. Our cold call. We cold called Andrew, the owner partner, and he was, he said we were in striking distance. Our original phone call with the guy, and at the end of the day, you asked him, "You got TI money you can throw at us?" And he said, "Sure." We sent him an LOI, followed up with them. He told us that the HVAC was covered in their triple net lease, and it wasn't a problem because we had inquired about it. Then they sent me the lease, and it says tenant's supposed to purchase a maintenance plan or something. That said tenant will purchase a maintenance plan for the HVAC. So I redlined all that out, and we basically I pasted your.
We talked to him about that.
Again,
at
yes.
what point when do we shuffle that into the deck? When did we talk to him about it? And he go, "Oh no problem. We'll take care of it."
That was, I think, right after we sent him the LOI.
Okay.
It was right away. So we sent him the LOI, and then he had put that. Then they sent the lease, and it had all that stuff in there. And it was a giant paragraph about the HVAC, and it's basically says I got to buy maintenance plan, and I'll take care of all that, and I'm responsible for the whole thing. So I redlined the whole thing. I just deleted the whole paragraph, redlined the whole thing out, and I pasted your out of the LOI that says landlord will warranty the thing with, for however long it says, 5 years or whatever.
Every time we talk to Andrew, he says, no problem. We'll take care of it.
Right.
It's on me. Kimmy, his agent, who does the paperwork, keeps on slapping us with bullshit.
And actually her response the second time was, paragraph 12 says this is how we handle it, and it was the same thing, right? So she came back this third time and said and took out what I put in there and put that whole paragraph back in there and typed it in with landlord will have the system operational, fully functional within 60 days, I think is what she said, or something like that. But that's all it was. So, I mean, and I'll tell you where I'm at on the thing is like, we keep doing this and we keep doing this shit. Like, I'm ready to tell them like, no.
Yeah. It makes you start to wonder about the landlords.
What the hell's going on? Right.
How your future relationship will be if something that is not in writing comes up when we continue to do this. So you said you redlined the entire paragraph. Did you email it back?
Yeah, I redlined and emailed back. That's what she sent it back to me and said. She put it back in there.
That you're going to be responsible for some kind of maintenance package.
Yeah.
What's the dollar figure?
And so on what? The maintenance package?
I mean, if it has a maintenance package, it should be a monthly stipend that you have to pay.
No, it said I need to go get one, basically is what it said. Like I have to go find a maintenance package, and it didn't like tell me I had to get a specific one.
But then
it
they're
said
like, pay for
you
it.
have to. No, I got to pay for it.
On the existing AC?
Right.
All right.
Here, let me find.
Here's what I'm hearing.
Oh.
And by the way, Alex texted me yesterday, and I think emailed me and you, and that's very telling. I always say over and over again, time is always on our side, especially when they say, oh, I got 3 people looking at it.
Who's Alex? I don't know who Alex is.
Yeah, the first thing I say is, well, go deal with them, and when they fall apart, come back to me. That's a game.
Right.
It's a game that people can't help but play when it comes to negotiating. So the fact that he's all over this. So what I need to do is call Alex and say, dude, we're not going to pay for air conditioning. If the air conditioning units that are there are not in working condition and order, we want you to fix it. You said that is something that happens it's part of your triple nets. He said that, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. See, I remember. Oh, look, it's written right here. But I actually remembered that. So without looking at it and reading through it, we're just saying, dude, this needs to be rectified with a simple addendum. And then everything else being said, you're ready to sign the lease.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess my biggest thing right now is like they keep going back on this and that. And like I said, as far as the negotiation part of it, because we asked him for TI money, and he said, yeah. And then so far, like, remember I asked him to replace a plate glass window that I thought was bad, and they were like, no, we're not spending any money. And now we're not going to do this. It's like, I don't know. They've got me really wondering about them.
You've lost faith.
I've lost faith in them.
But that's a good point to make. And here's the point. This isn't a dentist who you've trusted since you were 10 years old. This isn't somebody who clips your poodle for you. It's a landlord. And even the word itself, they're the lord of the land. What does that make us? The plebes? So that's why we have a lease, and less is more. How many pages is the lease itself?
A shit ton, like 30 something with
that's not bad.
With all their addendums and all their crap. 37 or something.
Yeah, that's you're not going to see a 5-page lease. If you do, sign it without even reading it.
Right.
A 75-page lease, that's a little ridiculous. But who knew? You know that from me, from my channel, that 30 pages is average. Now, that said, less is more, and that's what we want. When they're piling on more and more shit, eventually the apple cart is going to tip here. So at this point, if I'm right, I'm calling them up and saying, dude, what's with the air? What is happening? Now, we are responsible for changing it, finding someone. You redlined it, and then they wrote back that you're the maintenance guy. So I'm just going to tell them precisely what what you are conveying to me, which is that we're losing faith in how this is going to work moving forward. And it's okay
Well,
to
yeah,
say
if you
that. I
want.
hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you
Yeah.
stammering already. Where it doesn't matter. You can't allow these people
I
to
don't
run
care.
roughshod over you. Yeah.
No. My instinct is to tell them no thanks, and
Well, let
call
me
us
tell
if you
you,
find
we
whatever.
were working together for how long before you got an LOI out?
Friggin' not very long at all.
That's not common. So keep that in
Right,
mind.
I know. Well, I
We're
know,
talking
and that's
about the
and no, I
human
do know that.
experience, and what you know
Right.
is one road. And trust me,
Right.
I have.
I know it was. I know we had a lucky.
Not lucky.
That was a lucky shot.
No, happens.
One dart.
It
Yeah.
happens. What was it? Your
But
first
it's
call?
also not over. It
Yeah,
was. I think it was the first one we talked to.
Okay.
First one we talked to first and got a LOI. But I've also been in the real estate mortgage stuff, so I know it ain't over till it's over.
But that's also part of the human condition. Every girl you walk up to and you say you want to grab a drink, and they all say yes, you're probably Robert Redford. It's not luck.
Right.
My analogy.
Right. So your analogies are amazing.
I was going to say they're
so
terrible.
anyway, whatever you think. That's what I want to talk to you, because I mean my instinct as a negotiator.
Forget about
is to tell
instinct.
them,
Forget about
stick
instinct.
it. Yeah.
It's good. He keeps telling us that Kimmy's the one that is trying to zap you for this, that, and the other. But this is the only thing left, right? You're getting 6 months free rent. You're getting, everything is here. Well, it's 10 minutes to closing time if 5 p.m. means anything. And this is
probably for them.
Andrew.
And then, because this, I was looking at the thing right now. It says they've, tenants shall enter annual written maintenance contracts with competent licensed insured contractors. Such contractors shall include blah, blah, blah.
But I think what they're saying is they want to make sure that they're going to pay for it, but they want you to keep up with it.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't see.
Well, help me out, because I'm not looking at the lease. I'm telling him,
right,
look, dude, you said you're going to take care of the air conditioning, and now we're being told that we need to come up with some maintenance contract.
Right here, tenants shall provide landlord with a copy of all maintenance contracts required hereunder, and evidence satisfactory to landlord that the annual fees therefore have been paid. So,
yeah, that
I got to pay it.
Yeah. All right, let's call him up and tell him to fuck off. Here we go. I know you guys already subscribed, each and every one of you. If you haven't, come on, Andrew.
You've reached the voicemail box of Andrew Brain.
Andrew, let's get a lease signed. Nichols Street, Laundromat. Call me. Well, it's not even 5, but we see how this guy operates. Let's try again. Curiosity might get him to stare at his phone and get off the toilet. Here we go. Say it with me, guys. Come on, Andrew. For shit's sake. Sent him a text. Called him twice. Welcome to live television.
You've reached.
Is it our understanding that he's one of the partners? Because I always ask that question. Doesn't he have some vested interest in this?
Yeah, He said, yeah, he said you asked him that question. You said, are you the owner? And he was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, he's got some kind of vested interest in it.
Yeah.
He never did really say, but.
Well, you didn't type blah, blah, blah into the thing. But all right, I called him.
Correct.
I did leave a voicemail. I said, let's get this thing done. And I can't speak to whether or not the guy is 3 beers in or, this is not top of
It's
mind.
a beautiful, beautiful day here today. He's probably playing golf.
Probably playing. What a waste of water golf is.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
we're
I agree.
I'm not here to counsel you and to talk to you about how this is a lovely deal and you're good, but this is good. We shall see. And he's reiterated verbally over and over that this is not an issue at all. But then they go into their Monday meeting and then him and Kimmy put their heads together and say, well, let's hit him with a maintenance contract. Enough is enough. And I hear what you're saying. And that's precisely how I'm going to put it to him when we do get him on the phone. I'm going to say, look, dude, it's enough of this already. Let's get this. We want you to be responsible for the air conditioning for the life of the lease. And I don't like ultimatums. I'll shut up. I won't say or else because there's no reason. That's not how you negotiate. I almost said it there.
Correct.
But this is academic. What we're doing right now is chalkboard. When we get him on the actual telephone, thrice he has said, no problem, done. But now they are skirting the issue. They're nitpicking. They're coming back with, oh yeah, we'll take care of it, but you need to have a maintenance whatever. It's a joke. If his cousin has an air conditioning company, none of this would be going on,
Right.
All right, can't do much because he didn't answer. Anytime he texts or calls me back, I will get you on the phone and we will do this again.
I'm always anxiously awaiting your call.
Adorable. Goodbye.
Peace.
Peace is right. Now, as promised, back to you kids. Why don't we do a little bit of this? Why don't we get to a few of the questions? Oh, here's Mike. He's on there. Mike, you asshole. You're on here typing things on the thing while I'm on the phone with you. I don't even do that. I don't have the bandwidth to do that. I'm going to put some X's here because we're going to do a little Q&A now. Then we will call Scott and or his landlord. And then saving best for last, we will call the business broker that wants to sell us a $300,000 laundromat. I don't know how that's going to go, but I have some guesses. I'm just going to write out a little stop and some X's here, so it'll give me a point to know where I was at when we come back. Teresha says, Danny D. Yeah, that's me. Hi, Teresha. Tiffany Graham says, I just follow you today, and I'm learning so much. Single mom looking at a deal now for my first laundromat. Tiffany, that means the world to me. Welcome aboard. Pour over as many YouTube videos as you must. Learn as much as you can. See through the bullshit. And understand your job is a necessary evil. But when you are not at that job, when you are not trading your time for money, you need to be working on owning a company or 2 or 10. And I have laundromats for you. And I have helped to place plenty of single moms and truck drivers into these businesses. So a hearty welcome aboard to you, madam. Feel free to email me direct, Danny at freelaundromat.com. If I can help in any way, I will. Jack says hello. Hi, Jack. What do you do, Jack, in that shop of yours? Not much. You're always on these things. This guy's name is Azrael, first of his name. Look at that. Biblical. Hey, salutations. Same to you, sir. What a great word. Why say hello when you can say salutations? Top. And I always say, guys, if you're going to ask questions and you want me to call you by name, just put your name in there. Because I know your name isn't Schfinkterlover7 at Yahoo. How to get a phone call with you. Get the course first. And here's why. If we got on a telephone call and all you've seen are YouTubes, you're going to have 1 million small questions, and that's fine. I want you to be educated, not in the ways of the world, but in the ways that we do this. For that reason, get the silly course. Once you have seen it, those million small questions and big questions, they will be answered. And then we can get on a consultation and we can drill down what you need. And we can discuss your specific steps, previous steps you've taken and next steps. And anyone on here who has consulted with me, please now jump into the chat and let this individual know my consultations aren't what you think. They simply are not. Because of my impetus for doing this, because of my background, I don't want to sit on the phone and talk to people about laundromats all day. It's not a script. So therefore, it becomes about you, about your background as a surgeon who's married to a nurse, guy I talked to today. Bellhops, single moms, truck drivers, salt of the earth, and white-collar criminals who want laundromats. Wherever you fall on the spectrum, I find that fascinating. And I'm not a counselor. I'm not here to talk to you about your feelings. I'm here to help you get this did, and to do so without the mistakes and the bumps in the road, truly. It takes balls to own a business, especially if you don't know shit about it the way I started. There's your answer. Akabir. You need to get his course, and the course have all instructions. Look at this guy answering the first guy's question. You guys are awesome when you talk amongst yourself. Then Mike says, who we were just on the phone with, the dick, pay me $2,500 and I'll give you his number. Dude, you didn't pay that for my number. That's horrible. He's trying to make a profit. LOL. Never LOL. Jack says, oops, I meant haha. Thank you, Jack. Look at this. You guys are getting to know Danny. Unless you're a 12-year-old girl, don't LOL. What's up, y'all? Hi, Donald. Why would a 24-hour location stop being 24 hours, says Shogun Rose. And I highly doubt that's your real name. Quick story. My mother, who was very young when she had me, told the nurse and put Danny on the paperwork. That's my name. Not my childhood name, Danny. And the nurse said, you can't name him Danny. It's got to be Daniel. My mother sitting there, dumbfounded. The nurse said, what if he's a senator someday? So she acquiesced. She allowed him to put Daniel on the paperwork. To which I retort, why didn't you fucking name me senator? Shogun Rose, why would a 24-hour location stop 24 hours? Simple. Why would a grocer put up bulletproof glass and sell cigarettes for a living? Because they've given up on security. The next step is to leave the neighborhood and get the hell out of there. Close shop. They were 24 hours. Maybe it changed hands. Perhaps the new operator was scared, but that's the answer. Fear. Absolute, utter fear. One of the things in my course is 24-hour laundromats, period, end of story. Every time. And how you extricate yourself from the process. Because no one wants to work in a laundromat, except for the 12-year-old girls who are LOLing. All right, now I see my stopping point. We're going to get on a few more calls. As discussed, if you're new to the channel, hit the sub. Why? Be selfish. I never know when I'm going to go live. I've just started giving you notifications, but most of the time I don't. So be selfish. Sub. All right, I can't help myself. Farad says, hi, Danny. If I get the course for $300, which is not what it costs, does that include consultation until I get a laundromat? Fuck you, dude. Come on. Get them, guys. Yeah, sure. Can I Simonize your car as well? No sarcasm. Let's call Scott. I wonder about people. I really do. What a dick I am.
Hey, how's it going, Danny?
How'd you know it was me?
Yes, sir, always. Have you been following up on the emails and stuff?
Always.
All right, let me pull up my laptop.
Pull
So
up
I
your
guess
laptop.
the biggest thing for Alex is the finances, the locations, and I guess now he wants, according to him, he wants you to be on the lease. So yeah, it's either gonna go one way or the other. I'm kind of optimistic, but hopefully I'm ready for both.
Waiting to see you in the document so we can talk about the specifics of this.
Yeah, you know what, the laptop's. One second.
I'm going to text him right now.
All right, I'm in right now. Okay, I got the airports. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
All right, we need to take deep breaths and start this whole, if we're going to use a corporate term, the 10,000-foot view of this whole thing, okay? We called Alex. He sounds like a kid, right? He's a younger guy.
Yes.
Am I right? Okay. Not that that matters.
Yes.
But it does play into this. He is not the landlord. He doesn't own the dirt, correct?
Yes.
He works for a real estate agency who has been hired by the landlord. I texted him and now he's calling me.
Perfect.
It's not perfect. Let it go to voicemail. So, we sent him a letter of intent because the rate of rent is good. We have had how many back and forths?
We just counter the LOI, so just once or twice.
Just tried calling you, he texted me. Yeah, no shit. He started by saying that he wanted $3,500 a month, and he said $4,000 a month. This is why notes are important. They don't know that we are writing down every single word that they are saying, not necessarily recording calls or trying to get them in a gotcha situation, but it's very important whether you're selling newspapers to old ladies, life insurance to companies, or trying to negotiate a lease. You've got to write these little things down. Because when a guy says 3,500 plus triple net, and then the next week he says 4,000, no. I'm afraid you can't do that. Mistake on purpose or otherwise. We talked about abatement. He said a couple of months. I'm going through the notes and the bullet points here, right?
Yeah.
He said 3 to 5 months might be possible. What did we end up getting approved?
9 months.
Yeah. And this is the game, dude. Who says I'll give you 3 to 5 months free rent? All I heard was 6. And then we got 9. So all of that is ready to go in the works. Now, I'm hearing what you're saying. You're in the document. The emails back and forth. 2.5% increases rather than 5% increases. They wanted a 25-year lease because they said they don't have any. They didn't say they don't have money, but they don't want to spend. And now what I'm hearing you, did you write down in bullet points here where we are at now? What are the issues now?
The issues now is that he sent me a rental agreement, or at least to write my information, and credit score came a little low. So his biggest concern is,
hold on.
He wants to see.
They sent you an app and you filled it out.
Yes.
Is this written in the document so that it's all here for me to look at?
No.
Okay. Let me just scold you for a second here. Every time something transpires, every time something happens, remember, go into the document that we share and write it down. Put the date, Again, if you're selling newspapers, I called Mrs. McGillicuddy at 555-1214. Mrs. McGillicuddy, do you want the Saturday Evening Post? She said, no, I already get the Times. I should do her voice. No, I don't want it. I already get the Times. You better damn well type that in your little thing because you're going to get fired from the Saturday Evening Post. Even though it's a horrible job and you're cold calling little old ladies. This is far more important, Scott.
Yes, sir.
So for the cheap seats, document everything, date, time, what was said. Forget about the fact that we have another thread of emails where I'm looking at Alex doing this thing. I've beaten the dead horse. Enough. You are said horse. Document. You can do that later. All right. So
Okay.
Number one, here's today's date. They asked you to run a credit app. Did you reach out to me and tell me about that?
Yeah, I told you that it was okay to write my personal information, and you said that it was fine.
Yep.
So I went forward with completing it, and then they asked for bank statements, and I didn't reply back to their email.
Good. What do you do for a living? Remind me.
Police officer.
The thin blue line. God bless you. That goes a long way with me. Some people it doesn't. You're
No, thank you. Appreciate the support.
Of course. You're a blue collar worker, right? If you were a doctor and you had those initials in front of your name, even though it was day one, everybody shits in their hand and eats it. Okay. Chiropractor, not so much. All right, I digress. You filled out the credit app, and who told you it came in a little low? And I want to talk about this for a minute. This is one of people's greatest fears, why they don't go into their own business, why they don't start a small business, why they don't do this. I want to say this. Probably 5% of landlords ever even ask for a credit app. Hear me say that. 95% of the landlords that I deal with through my clients never even ask. Now, let me ask you, and you're not unlucky that they asked for it. On the top of the app, it asks for your name, your social, that's all they need. Then it asks for your vocation. You wrote police officer. You wrote your department. How long have you been there?
10 years.
You have tenure. Pretty good.
Yes.
What's the worst thing about your credit?
Just student loans that haven't been erased from the credit report. Other than that, it's just...
So I have three plates spinning right now. Number one, as a friend, I want to tell you this. Go spend a couple $100. That's all it costs. Go online and hire a credit fixer person, okay? Not because you need that to get a laundromat, not because you're going to need it for the equipment, which is the only person that it needs to crawl into your credit, but because, like you said, it's bullshit. So the worst thing about your credit isn't even correct. So fix it. Don't try to do it yourself. It's not worth it. It's a couple $100. Okay. You don't even have to find somebody good. I don't know somebody. Go hire someone. They'll fix all. They send letters to stuff where you do owe money, and then they come back and say, oh, Sears and Roebucks, they've been gone for 10 years. That goes away. That goes away. So do that, okay? Make a sticky note.
Got it.
And I'm glad you brought this up. I'm glad Alex asked. Alex, desperate, dude. Texted me 3 times a day. They want you as a tenant. Thing number one, your credit. Do you feel comfortable telling me and the whole world what's your score?
I'm used to 740, but it came back at 654, which that's the lowest I've had it.
Okay. Due to student loans. Got it. Student loans that shouldn't be there. Got it.
Right. They're all paid off. They're just showing the report.
Understood. Doesn't matter. Shouldn't be dealing with it. Did they have did you give them a P&L statement of your universe, your life? Because, dude, I know multimillionaires who have a 280 credit score. They can't pay it. They couldn't pay attention if it came to getting a debit card. But they're rich. They don't care. Because you go through your entire life, you never need to deal with it. It does not matter. And this won't matter when it's time to get equipment either. All right, that's number one. Your horrible credit. You should feel terrible about your life. And what was number two?
He wanted to see bank statements.
Okay, but you ignored that.
Right. And then he's been following up with he wants to see locations that we're currently operating.
Okay, I will talk about that. Now, and you say he wants me on the lease?
He mentioned that he wants you and me to guarantee the lease. So that's one thing he did mention.
Sure.
On the email.
Let's talk about that. That's common. Did he CC me in this email?
Yes.
Because I didn't see it. Okay. He didn't send it to you and then you CC'd it back to me.
No. There's he's been replying to both of us.
Okay. These are really, really good points because what we're seeing here is a major firm. Okay. This is a big outfit. You don't have to expect this from every major outfit. They've been hired by the landlord to do due diligence to make sure that potential tenants are good in every way. Understood. I'm not going to say who it is, but these are people that you see on every building and every billboard, Keller Williams. So I thought they sold paint. So what Alex is doing, you understand, is ticking boxes, right? And the last thing is any partners are going to sign a personal guarantee. I'm not a partner. He doesn't get that. I'm not ambiguous when it comes to who I am in all this. When we send the email, I'm a separate entity. So now is time to rip off the Band-Aid, and this is people's fear. I'm not your partner. Let me ask you, do you think it's a good or a bad thing that you hired a professional to help you through this process? I know what you think.
No, it's a good thing for me.
It's genius. But they just don't understand the characters in this Greek tragedy quite yet. I'm seeing the email now. There are a few things to discuss, and that's what we will do. We need both you and Danny to sign to personally guarantee the lease due to credit score, meaning yours. Mine's like 840. We would also...
I'll flex next month.
And I don't use it. You know what I mean? And that's ironically is why. We would also... And if you don't use your credit ends, I shouldn't say that. We use certain cards to get miles when we fly first class everywhere, overseas, et cetera. Shelley is a genius. Shelley's a licensed stockbroker, real estate agent, and insurance agent. She doesn't work for a living. She works for me. She works for the family. So she maintains the licenses. And I get scolded when I buy a Rolex, or I bought $40,000 in gold today because the gold price dropped. And she's like, why didn't you use this card? Because if I used a certain card, I get 1% back, and that's a lot of money. Anyway, I can't be bothered. I'm like, leave me alone. We get along great. We would also need 3 months bank statements and a few locations that you currently operate. That's all going to be answered when we call Alex. And don't forget, at the end of the day, we have been working together for how long?
About a month.
Are you losing sleep over this?
Not at all. I'm already ready to get... I'm ready for the next one.
You strap on a pistol and you battle the bad guys every day. So good for you. God bless you. You're not concerned and losing sleep over this. If this deal goes away, it is not a big deal. They want and need you more than you them. So, your credit score doesn't really matter. But Alex is not the decision maker. They are ticking boxes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Let me call him up. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you understand that none of this is the end of the world. So many people research a new Schwinn bicycle or a $100,000 pickup truck, and all they've done is research. And then when it comes time to buy that thing, they freak out because they know that they want it. But if you remove the want, what have you lost? Time is the one thing we're not getting any more of. I agree. People never think that way. Time, not important. Can't wait to retire and sit and do nothing. No, thank you. It's the money. And until you're losing the money, that Schwinn bicycle or that new pickup truck is meaningless. This deal hasn't cost you anything. And it's probably enjoyable for you to sit and listen to me negotiate because you don't have to. Don't feel bad. I have a cop in New York City. And when you say you're a policeman, I don't assume that you're writing tickets or that you're a detective. Don't tell me what you do. It doesn't matter. It matters to you. But my point is, this officer in New York is a negotiator. And we're currently working together. So imagine that. And you're like, why would you hire a negotiator? You're the best in the world. Sure, he's good at talking people off of buildings in a very soft tone. Imagine me as a police negotiator, right? Jump, motherfucker. Who cares? We'll clean up the mess later. Oh, boy. All right, let's call Alex. Oh, boy. Now he's texting me. Just try calling. Can both of you guarantee the lease? And can you send me at least 3 months bank statements, please? No. All right, here we go.
All right.
I know you guys subscribed. Now thumbs it. Thumbs it.
Hey, Daniel.
Danny. It's
Hello?
always Danny.
Hey, Danny. How are you?
What's new and different? Never felt better, never had more.
Another day in paradise. Everything's good.
I hear people say that. Alex, I am not guaranteeing shit. I'm not on this thing. You have to understand, and perhaps you don't, no problem. Scott has brought me in to negotiate this deal, okay? Scott, as you know what he does for a living, right?
I have no idea what it is for a living.
Okay. Well, look, I know you work for a big outfit and there's a lot of wheels turning, there's axes spinning, a lot of things are going on. So this conversation is very important to me, and I hope it's important to you. He's a police officer. He's a tenured cop, so he's worked for his department for over 10 years. That being said, his credit score reflects mistakes, which he is rectifying. He didn't even know it was there. He hasn't bought a car in years. It's not really an issue. So you and I know, at least I hope that you know, what is a credit score? What does a social do for you? Today it's wonderful, tomorrow it's not. That being said, he's your guarantor. And he's intelligent enough to bring in someone like me who is a consultant, who understands how laundries work. Understand this. Let's take an even bigger step back. He's not buying a business. You know that laundromats are being bought and sold every day in this country and in California, every day. And in my opinion,
I know that.
People that buy them are fucking up. People are buying a laundromat. Who sells a successful cash business? All right, we could get even further into the weeds. So I want you to understand, Scott is the type of person that has crossed every T, dotted every I. His credit score is, in fact, what it is. He's your guarantor because I'm not a partner in this. I have no vested interest in this. And I apologize if that wasn't clear. As our email addresses are separate and the LOI states clearly, deal with me as the negotiator. So my apologies if that wasn't clear.
That's no problem. Okay. It said that he has about $600,000 in the bank. Is there any way that he could provide me with at least proof of it?
Sure, of course. And I don't know. I don't get into this with my client. I don't know where that is coming from. I assume, look, I've got some money. It's certainly not going to be in a bank statement. So if you're looking at a P&L, I mean, am I going to start telling you that I have a bicycle from when I was 10 years old and it's worth $80? That's not what we're looking at. He is well off. But let me say this. That is not liquid cash in a bank. Does that make sense? And maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Yeah. The FDIC insures to $250,000 these days. And, bank statements aside.
I get that. I fully understand that language you're talking to me. I just need to know for
the higher ups,
the landlord that
I get it.
He has some sort of cash, whether it's
Got it.
600,000, 500,000, 400,000, 300,000, just something.
The most
Because the
important
personal
thing.
guarantee got to mean
Sure.
something, you know?
Understood. The most important. Look, how do you feel when I tell you he's a tenured cop? Be honest.
A lot more comfortable.
Good. There you go. That's on the credit app. The landlord should be aware of it. At the end of the day, it means a lot to me personally. My grandfather was Navy. My dad was Navy. I was Navy. I see an old guy in Walmart with a Navy cap. I'm going to help the guy out. It's just the way the world works
100%.
with me.
100%.
That being said,
100%.
let me get back with Scott. We're ready to sign this thing. And what you want, and here's the most important thing. Here's what the landlord needs to understand. You need someone that's able to put new equipment in this store. And that's what Scott is doing.
He understands that.
Yeah. And that's where the money is
Yes.
going. All right. Everything
That's why
else
he gave me that much.
everything else looks lovely. I wanted to follow up with you because of the email and those queries. His credit is a joke because he's the one that found out, Jesus, I got student loans that have been paid that still remain on his credit. So you know how that works. We all do.
Yeah, I know. I've had it happen to me too.
Good.
I understand.
All right. We'll send you an
I
email
just
and
gotta make sure that
you'll
that
see a
personal guarantee.
Yeah,
means
let us-
something. I just need to make
let
sure.
us put it. Yeah, and I'm not on. You'll see a P&L.
Okay, I appreciate
Statement. I said the wrong thing. Not a P&L.
Bank statement.
Yeah, net worth. There you go.
That's perfect.
All right, and you'll push it up,
All right,
and we'll
appreciate
get it
it,
all
Danny.
done. All right, bye.
Sounds good.
Oy vey. So we take three things. Now, look, this is really good, and I want to thank you for allowing us to bring this public. One of the biggest fears people have in opening any small business is their horrible credit, and yours isn't bad. It's not bad. Of course, when you say to someone, do you know what he does for a living? And I'm not rolling the dice or taking a leap of faith to say, hey, you know, if you've been working in the restaurant industry for a year, his next question, well, what does that mean? Oh, he owns a McDonald's. Okay. No offense to wait staff, right? But you're different and you deserve to be different. That's my opinion.
No, thank you.
Don't thank me. You put in the work. I've been sitting behind this desk for 20 years doing this. And that's why folks trust me, and it means the world to me that you do. The bank statement shouldn't scare you. Now, I'm not going to say a number. He did. And that's why I explained, brother, I can't I'm not going to say, I don't know if I've told you, but sometimes I explain to clients quietly, you Google my name and the first word that comes, you know, the way they do that with celebrities. Selma Hayek blank, you know, are her boobs real, whatever. With me, it's scam, there aren't any. And the second query is net worth. None of your business. I'm not a guru. I'm not here to flash stuff and things. Yes, I talk about where I live, my other houses, the two houses I bought last month, you know, what you should be investing your money in, et cetera, because I feel like that is pertinent and poignant with my clients. I love gold and silver and Rolex watches. I just bought 107 acres. Okay, all that being said, I can sign for $250,000 at all the Bellagio properties. Walk up, sign my name, and get a stack of chips. They call them chips when you don't know, but they're called checks. So I can get a stack of checks.
I understand.
That means a lot to me because I might someday need to go, to go put it all on black. So if you really put all of it together, what is it? It is not a bank statement. It's what I said at the end. It's your net worth. So you're going to put that statement together. Like I said, if you happen to own a boat or people will argue that a boat is not an asset. It's a liability. But the truth is, if you own a thing outright and it exists in a blue book, there's value there. We just blew out your loan to debt ratio, your credit application number, the locations we are operating, and me being a cosigner because I said, dude, I'm not sure how you misunderstood that I'm a lease negotiator. Done. And the last thing is a statement. What I want you to do is put together a professional statement, not with your banks. Do you have a brokerage account?
I have a Charles Schwab account.
There you go. That's a fucking brokerage account. Okay. You can look, we have not talked about this, and we are not, I would never, and I've put together videos about this before, never lie in business. Not at all. Ever. You're going to pull net worth from every corner of your life, and you're going to put it in a statement. Because like he said, he didn't even understand minutes ago that you are a cop. And it means something to him, to me, to most people. And it will mean something to the landlord. I want you to send me over that statement. I will touch it up, and I will also place some information on the way that we do this and some flowery verbiage about why you are the best bet. That's all we need. Because the landlord is not aware that you're a cop either. And to you, salt of the earth, that you probably feel like, it's not a big deal. It's just a job. I don't know. Maybe you don't. But to others, it is a big deal, and it should be a big deal. So you have a big leg up, and you deserve it. Put together your statement, your net worth statement. Go look on Google and look up a net worth statement, and you'll see how you plug everything together and how you do the thing. Of course you own your house. Of course you own your mom's house, right? You get it.
Yes.
Good man. All right. I appreciate you. Understand that at the end of the day, you're not losing sleep over this. And also, here I am fucking counseling again. Can't help myself. Nothing is worth your health. Nothing is worth lost sleep. You have a good deal in front of you. If it falls apart, we get back on the phone. It's that simple. Put the statement together, email it to me. And stop talking to these people and emailing them back and forth outside my purview. I want to be there to protect you.
Got it.
And my 20-year-old daughter can outshoot you. You know that, right?
Oh, I told you she probably could.
Not probably. Guaranteed. But that's no big deal.
Gotcha.
Okay, bye.
All right, then. Take care. Bye.
All right, we're going to do some queries here, and then we're going to get on to the meat and potatoes, which is really just an aside to all of this. I appreciate each and every one of you. And let me say this. If you're new to this YouTube channel, this is not teaching you how to put aluminum siding on your house step by step. Certainly not that. And I want to thank you for allowing me to take your valuable time. What this is about is owning coin laundromats and doing it right from the beginning. And there's a lot of minutia involved, kids, as you've seen. Live calls without a net with my clients, who are folks just like you, who are salt of the earth people who work for a living and who want to break that chain for their family, for their grandkids. Substantial wealth exists two ways. Three. Inheritance. I didn't get a penny. Owning the business. And the lottery. If you buy lottery tickets, okay, I can't speak to that. So let's drill this down to reality. Own the business. A massive percentage of people that I consult with say, I'm going to work in real estate. I'm going to own real estate. My goal is to be a real estate guy or gal. Okay, where are you going to get the money? I figured out the hard way that you could get into coin laundromats with nothing out of pocket. Yes, free. And there's tons of people on here that know it, that are doing it, that have done it. And so Get educated. Understand how we do it and how you can do it. Let me give you the timeline. We're going to go through some questions. I'm going to put another stop here so that once these questions are done, we'll get on to the final call. And it's going to be a ton of fun because we're going to call a broker on the West Coast. We already talked to Farad about his thing in New York. Farad, I have a ton of New York videos. We've got Hender, who's going through the process right now, who just got his free laundromat. Watch those. And understand that it ain't about New York. All we New Yorkers think it is about us. It's not. It's about the universe. The universe of laundromats and how this works everywhere. Oh, next question. Does your course work in the UK? Yes, and it has. And I have success stories on my webpage with those very individuals. First and last name. Don't go look them up. It's not their job to go help you figure out whether or not I'm real. It does. It's the same in the UK. Get the silly course. I'm not selling courses here, guys. I'm not selling dreams or unicorn farts. I'm allowing folks like you to understand that you shouldn't get hurt when you get into this business. Tops 22, who did not give us his name or her name. I have a unique laundromat situation that I think is right up your alley. Okay, yeah, never heard of anything such. Everybody thinks they're unique. Sorry, not sorry. Horatio, consultation was great. Danny asked personable questions and got to know my wife and I better. Hired for negotiations, and Danny is punctual and no BS. What you see is what you get. Thank you, Horatio. That means a lot. It's kind of scary, right? To go on the YouTube machine and roll the dice. I don't have an admin. I don't have anyone here that deletes bad comments. Somebody steps to me or calls me out, I'll own it. I don't know if you're a dog, if you cheat on your wife or girlfriend. I don't know if you're out slinging rock. My conscience is clear when it comes to everything, every aspect of my life, and every client I've ever dealt with. I can tell you that's a really good feeling. When people say to me, you're a no bullshit guy, that's a massive compliment to me. So thank you, Horatio. Smoking a nice cigar and listening to Danny making calls is a good, happy hour. That's awesome. Couldn't agree more. Erwin says, negotiating my third possible laundromat now, thanks to your course and videos. Erwin, send me an email. Erwin, before the end of this, where are you and what are the specifics? Mr. Miraz, two-part question. Oh my God, I'm back in high school. Do we need a good credit score? We just talked about that. What's the minimum credit score? So you don't. You don't. You just saw a landlord who said, well, we want a good credit. We want a cosigner. We want this. They're still going to sign the lease with him. And only 5% of landlords ask. Don't allow that. But by the way, dude, are you an adult person? Fix your credit. Just fix it. Don't buy shit you don't need. Don't have a big apartment if you can't afford it. I am not, nor was I ever, a rich child. Shit wasn't handed to me, so I know from where I speak. Jack says no credit check, so he knows. Tiffany, spelled funny. I appreciate it. I shall continue to dig in. I was laid off, so no 9 to 5 anymore. Running my business and looking for another job. Tiffany, what is the business? And I was going to say, get another job. You need the job, and you don't have the course, so I'll let it fly here. Job stands for just over broke. As long as you're working for someone, whether you're a surgeon, driving your Corvette into the basement parking lot every day and going up to the top floor, or you're a ditch digger, riding the bus to work, you're making someone else money. As long as you have a job, the boss is thrilled that you show up on time. But it's an unfortunate circumstance that you're in. Get another job. Get a better job. You'll land on your feet. You'll have the income, and you'll spend every waking hour doing this. Donnie, I think Donnie is somebody that knows me or something because he's always being cryptic, but whatever. Big questions. Tiffany has frowny face, crying face. I'm not sure what that means. Throw your debit card in the trash and get your cash back rewards. Correct. Mr. Mirage, Jack in the Shop, thank you. You guys are always talking amongst yourselves. Stay tuned, kids, because we're about to call a business broker who's trying to sell us a building and a laundromat. It's going to be great fun. Fingers crossed that she answers the friggin' phone. Danny, you say it a million times. Me and my partner are Doug guarantors. There we go again. Correct. And the term partner in that way, in the early inception of the calls, is like saying partner with a cowboy. I'm explicit about that. My partner and I. Imagine if I called a landlord day one, minute one, first call, and I said, hi there, I'm a professional lease negotiator. Pull up your knickers. I don't know that it wouldn't work because I would never do it. I'm not lying. I'm using clever verbiage. And at some point, rarely, and I'm happy to put this out there, rarely does that landlord say, I want Danny. This has happened maybe twice. Maybe. I have to think about it. I don't want to say it's never happened before, where the landlord says they want me to guarantee. Okay, well, that's not my thing. And he's like, oh, all right. Didn't get it. Didn't know that. If the landlord hires a pro to take care of the lease, I think I should too. There you go. That's a great point. And I want to talk on that. What are you really good at? Tons and tons and tons of people all over the world run their own small business, and they do so in rented space. You own a McDonald's or a string of them, you don't own that dirt. McDonald's does. Wow, what a racket. Horrible hamburgers that come frozen in the mail, French fries with chemicals in them, don't get me started, but yet you pay them a fee, you give them a percentage of your profit, and you pay them the rent. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum. You got a hot dog cart, and you own it, and you buy them hot dogs. You have to pay someone where you park that cart. Or you have rented space for your bead shop, and you're good at it. You make the greatest bead necklace things. Who's going to negotiate your lease? You. The landlord has a professional realtor who negotiates 100 leases a year, and you do what? One in a lifetime? I don't like those odds, but I'm no bookmaker. Tiffany says I could help him credit-wise. Well, a lot of people can. No offense to you or him. If you have the time and the inclination and you want to sit down and figure out your credit, you can have it pulled. You can use the internet. You can send out tons of letters. Personally, if I had those issues, I would go with a professional. Send them a few dollars. Do I need to do the consultation or can I jump right into the lease negotiation? The consultation is baked into the cake, my friend. Rick. Jump on, Rick. Zach says, go Navy. Hell yeah. Help the guy out. Give me the cash and I'll write it off. Donnie, I'm not sure who you are, man, but if you know me personally, send me a text because, okay, big reveal. The way that you write is kind of annoying me. So the next time I'm just going to take you off the channel. It's not offensive or anything. It's weird. Ben says, Danny, watching your videos and looking forward to working with you in the future. Ben, future never comes, my friend. Carpe diem. Seize today. I know it seize the day. All right. We're done with queries for now. We're going to have a little bit of fun, and we're going to go over to Compton, California. Hell yeah, I would own a string of laundromats in Compton. You can't be afraid. You can't be scared. And we're going to call Judy the broker. She better answer. A lot of buildup. And then we'll get back to you guys.
Yo, Danny.
How can I hear your phone ring when I call you? That's so weird to me. Like I hear the last tidbit of a ring.
Oh, it's on my laptop.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm not very savvy when it comes to things like that.
No worries.
All right, we're going to have some fun. We have a now this is a bit of a setup, let's be honest, because we don't call business brokers who sell laundromats. I could do that all day. I could go right now into Google, pick a city, Ottumwa, Iowa, Compton, California, New York, New York. I could go into Craigslist and find laundromats for sale, buy, biz, sell. But it's more poignant when it happens by accident. It makes more sense when you hear the inflection in the salesperson's voice when they fall apart. So pretend I don't remember. What's the story with this particular laundromat location?
This is a card only laundromat, and there's a crap laundromat across the street on a Sunday. That one's full because that one accepts coin. This one doesn't.
Man, I hate when I'm right.
And yeah, and you called the landlord yesterday, and we learned, and you actually said, "Hey, did you know that this is actually for sale?" And the landlord said, "Yes, it is." And then you asked for the landlord's, or you asked for the agent's number. You got the agent's number.
Okay. So if we want to have any traction here, we're going to go back to the landlord himself or herself.
Yep.
And explain that we are not interested and intrigued in purchasing the business. So this is a bit of mental masturbation here. We're just doing this for the heck of it. We're gonna feign interest in the purchase of this place. And it looks to me, okay, they've got old equipment. It looks to me like they went in and they spruced up the place. They painted it. They put in new speckled flooring, tiles, right? Because they're sprucing it up for a sale. It's like sweeping your way out of your apartment or your condo because the realtor is about to bring a prospective buyer over, right?
Yeah.
But meanwhile, your condo is on an active volcano and they don't know that. Or they tell you to show up at midnight to tour it because there's overhead power lines that you can't see. Or they say, come and visit my condo between noon and 12:15 because at 12:17, the fucking train goes by. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Something doesn't seem right. I'm going to hang out until 12:40 and see what happens. This is what I call a poltergeist store. Great movie if you haven't seen it. I know you're young.
Poltergeist. I don't recall seeing it.
Don't want to ruin it for you because it'll be a big spoiler alert. But the way the movie works, great film. I call these stores where they've cleaned up the mess above board. I call it a poltergeist store. It'll ruin it for you. Don't you people dare comment on what that is. All right. We're going to call Judy. We're going to play the game. Now, in no way, shape, or form are you looking to give $300,000 for this business or $3.2 million for the building, including the business? So there's one number that we don't know, right? What is it?
Yep.
Just
Is it
the building. What's the cost for just the building if we want to buy that? We can't.
I think if they said it.
But wait, I'm trying to explain how silly this is. It's $3.2 million for the building, and you get the laundromat for free, right?
Right.
Or we can buy the business for $300K.
Sure. Okay.
Explain to me why that doesn't make any sense.
It seems like numbers are just pulled out of thin air at this point.
That's true. But bro, if you make the mistake of stroking a check for 300 grand, and now you're the laundromat owner, right?
Yep.
What's the price for the building tomorrow? Does it drop by 300,000?
It's not guaranteed.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
The building is still for sale for 3.2 million. All I'm going to do is ask Judy some very pointed questions as though I am a rich rube. Okay. I have the money, but I don't really know how to spend it.
Sounds good.
One of those things is true. Judy, I'm ready to stroke you a check, but then when we ask these questions, let's see how quickly she falls apart. Is there an appraisal for the building, or do they just pull that out of their ass? Would you buy any piece of property without having comps and appraisals?
Absolutely not.
I hope not. This is all I have. Oh, I asked you something. What else is in the building? Is this a strip mall?
It is a strip mall.
Okay.
There is a business that does taxes. And
So like a small
discount.
1,500 square foot tax attorney type of thing?
Yep. Or you file your tax returns. Someone help with that.
Not
And
not
a
H&R
discount.
Block, but a small like mom and pop.
Exactly. That's right.
Got it. And
a discount store, like a 99-cent store.
okay, but not a national chain.
No, not a national chain.
And
That's it from what I recall and the pictures I took.
and the laundromat.
And the laundromat. Yep.
No empty suites, no empty space.
Nope.
Do you see how silly that is? The landlord obviously operates the laundromat. So the landlord wants to sell me a building for $3.2 million and extricate themselves from the day-to-day operations of the laundromat because the laundromat isn't making money, because they didn't know what they were doing, because they have a card store and across the street there's a dumpier, nastier laundromat with older equipment. According to you, you're the boots on the ground. You are my forward eyeballs. You are my Marine Scout sniper, and you're telling me you'd rather be running that place if profit is the goal. If profit 100%. Is the goal. All right, we've built this up way too much. Let's call Judy.
Sure.
Subscribe to the channel. Don't miss these lives. Come on, Judy.
Hello.
Judy.
Yes.
Danny D'Angelo. I am looking.
Yes.
So I might be a player for the building, depending on some queries.
Okay.
And or the laundromat. And first, so you are not a partner. You don't own the building. You work for the landlord.
I'm the broker, and I listed the property, but
Okay.
we also have a property management division
Okay.
that manages the property.
Excellent. And I hope you don't mind. I like to know who all the players are before I get involved in some Greek tragedy here.
In regards to
Anything, any business.
yeah, well,
Okay.
there's owners. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Sure. Okay. So the makeup of the building, you have 3 suites?
There are 5 suites total.
5. Okay. Are some of those
Yes, the
combined?
first-
Because I only see 3 businesses.
No, there's 5 businesses.
Okay.
None of them
5
are combined.
businesses. Okay. What are those businesses in generally speaking?
The first one is a beauty salon. They've been there about 10 years. The second one is they're actually, what would it be? Like a snack and fruit shop where They make different snacks.
Like a
They sell different.
like a Hispanic,
Well, it's
like a Hispanic
yes, yes,
Okay.
like a fruit shop. And then
fruteria. I'm not sure
the
how to
third
say it in
one,
Spanish.
fruta, bionicos.
Perfect. There you
And then
you could have said that. I own some property in Mexico, so I get that. All right.
Oh, okay, okay.
Making me hungry.
Then the third one is a income tax office with bookkeeping.
Got it.
And the fourth one is the owner user laundromat that could be sold as well, because he took over. What they did is they took over the existing, the previous owner. They basically evicted him for non-payment around COVID. Like they just disappeared on the landlord.
Okay. So
They
when
weren't
you
coming
say
to the store or anything like that.
when you say owner user, you mean landlord operator, and I'm not okay.
Landlord operator,
Got it.
correct.
Okay.
And what they did is they went in there and repaired all the machines that were not working in the laundromat. They replaced the card readers, the system. So basically all your machines are working, everything's in shape, and you have 2 tankless water heaters and just
All right,
different inventory in that shop.
Love it. We're getting into the weeds a little bit, but so that's 4 businesses. What else?
Yes. The 5th business is a convenience store, and they've been there about 10 years as well.
But not a national chain. It's a bodega.
It's a small pop shop.
Sure.
Mom and pop shop.
So we have 4 leased spaces without, again, getting into the weeds. Do any of those tenants have remaining tenure? Do any of those tenants have lengthy leases in place?
Let's see, the first is coming up for renewal in 2024. Actually, the first, second, and third, they're all coming up for renewal in 2024. The first one has been long-term. The second one is short-term. They've been there almost 2 years. The third one
and
is
I'm trying to get, I'm
3
not even
years.
writing any of this down, Judy, but my mind is like a steel trap when it comes to money. So I'm going to be extremely honest. What I'm hearing is we've taken 5 tenants. We've removed one, which is the laundromat, because that is the landlord. And then we've removed 3 others because their leases are up in 1 year. So as a potential investor, who has a lengthy lease in place, or at least a longer lease that's not a year? One tenant. Who is it?
The store that's on the net lease, the store. And
The
then
convenience store. Okay.
the other 3, I'm actually getting ready to renew the lease. But my concern with that was if there's a new owner coming in,
we might want to hammer them.
I didn't want to end up negotiate without the new owner's, feedback.
100%. Smart. Very smart. All right. We have some of that now.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a player, now, here's a big question. This is one of the big ones. Where did you arrive at 3.2 million? Why is that the price?
The actual laundromat, the laundromat sale, the business opportunity with the laundromat is actually listed at 300,000. Within the 3.2 million is a 300,000.
Okay, I get that.
But the 2.9 is for actually for the building, the shop. And it's based on square footage and local areas of other sales, of other retail shops.
Comps.
Correct.
Do you have a recent appraisal?
We do not have a recent appraisal.
Okay. Let's jump off of the building and jump into the laundromat. You seem motivated whenever, you said, hey, there's a beauty salon, 2 words. You said there's a fruteria, 1 word, income tax and bookkeeping. But when you got to the laundromat, you were getting pretty wordy. And I think.
Well, the reason is I know all the work that they've put into it since they had to take it over.
Sure.
From repairs of redoing some of the card readers. I know the work because I walked in with them many times to see the vendors.
Mhm.
So I know all the work they put into getting the laundromat to where it needed to be up and running full speed.
Love you, Judy. You're very hands-on, and I appreciate that. Now, you understand laundromats are my business. Maybe,
Oh, okay.
maybe you don't. Okay, you didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
So
But that's fine.
when it comes to
That's
the
great.
building, we don't have a bank appraisal. We're not basing it on anything other than potential comps in the area. Where did
Correct.
you arrive at a $300,000 price for this laundromat?
For a laundromat that size with those kind of machines, just to get it up and running, you're looking about 500,000, 550, only because I asked the bank. Because the owners also purchased the existing loan on the machines. They purchased everything
So
outright.
your previous
So
operator,
just to get a shop like that,
sure, your previous, and I'm sorry for interrupting, it's the way my mind works.
that's okay.
Your previous operator failed. They couldn't pay the rent.
Correct.
They got booted out.
Mhm.
And the landlord didn't pay for the business rights. The landlord didn't pay for the infrastructure. They didn't pay for the machines other than taking over the loan on existing equipment. Now, I just want to
Yes.
I want to say something. I'm not going to ask any more questions, but you're telling me that you're selling me a business for 300 grand. I'm trying to think of an analogy, right?
Well, I already know a business like that.
Yeah, okay, but I
It's
do.
the
But I
size
do.
and the
here's-
amount of machines.
Sure.
And all the plumbing and everything needed for the infrastructure, you're looking about 450, 500,000 right now to get it done. Plus, they're looking
Judy,
also at the debt
Judy.
they had to clear to the bank.
Sure, Judy.
Uh-huh.
Why would you
Yeah.
want to own any business? It's a one-word answer.
That's not up to me to own. That's up to the
No,
buyers.
okay.
So,
But why would you
What do you
want to
mean?
own? Why would an individual, you, my cousin Lou, why would anyone want to own any business? It's a simple one-word answer.
for a profit.
There you go. God bless you.
Hmm.
Profit. When I asked you where you arrived at the price, you talked about infrastructure, you talked about what it would cost to build, but you have the same equipment in the same location, and the previous operator failed. I am a player for this. You know the landlords. I don't have to go any further. You don't have to acquiesce that I'm right, wrong, or indifferent. I've been in the store. We have scouted this location years ago, even when it was operating, when it was being run haphazardly. My assumption is the operator has other businesses, or, this is a guess, they're a doctor, a lawyer, or a professional person. And that type of individual doesn't know what they're doing when it comes to a laundromat. They're really good at the other thing, at the 10 years of college, at sticking needles in people's necks or whatever they do. And they make a bunch of money and they buy a laundromat. They closed the doors not because of COVID, because guess what? If they would have taken the time to Google, should I shut my laundromat? They didn't have to. Essential businesses like a gym, I don't call that essential. The bubonic plague killed millions of people, but it was mostly because of the lack of cleanliness. The Coin Laundry Association fought for us during COVID, and I know I'm losing you here, but it's pretty deep in the weeds. Not one single laundromat in these United States needed to shut their doors for 1 second due to COVID, other than New York and some places where they were really confused about what was really happening, but we didn't have to do anything. Nothing different, because if it wasn't for cleanliness, any disease would kill more humans. Forget about
Yeah, but it didn't shut down for COVID because of COVID. It shut down because the operator disappeared, was not showing up.
Okay. No, great.
That's
Well,
not because COVID shut it down.
You said that. I only brought it up because you said
just wasn't showing up.
Okay, you said during COVID. So the operator was afraid they were going to get sick and they never went into the store. Okay.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know why. Like, if it was a personal issue, I don't know what issue it was, but they weren't showing up.
Here's my point, and I know that, and you don't have to agree. This business failed. The landlord wants to sell the building, and they think that the feather in their cap is the laundromat. Even the flowery language that you use includes, oh, the laundromat is great because of X, Y, or Z. By the way, is a card reader a good idea? You don't know. How do I know you don't know? Because you don't frequent laundromats, do you? Do you spend every Sunday in a laundromat?
I did as a child growing up and in my teen years, so I know what a laundromat is.
When
for
I was
and
a
what it's
child,
about. And I understand exactly how they're running right now, the way they have the card readers and the possibilities of marketing with information or the
you're
benefit
wrong. Sorry,
to have
sorry, not
recurring
sorry.
clients.
Judy, you're wrong. And here's the thing: you're not a laundromat consumer. Maybe you were when you were a kid. I wore short pants and surfed when I was a kid, so those are different times. Card readers and inputting those in the store, not a great idea. And here's again, I could go crazy with laundromat speak.
Ugh.
You are correct. Card readers are great for the operator. It's a wonderful sales tactic for the operator, the person that's running the store. You just said you can do sales. Makes sense. You could talk to me till you're blue in the face about how great it is for me, the operator, or you, the potential operator, or my cousin Lou. You know who hates them? The consumer. So they're not a good idea. Seems crazy, but you and I don't frequent laundromats anymore if we ever did. And so distributors sell $90,000 systems and they put them in place. Again, I know. I'm a player for this. I want to sign a long-term lease. The equipment that's in the store, let me ask you this. What was the note on the equipment? What did the landlord take over?
I don't have it in front of me right now.
Okay.
I don't have the file in front of me. But I do know it was over 100,000 for sure.
Okay. So for them to be able to profit on this, just the laundromat, for them to profit, because you admitted it yourself, everyone's goal is profit. And for your landlords, is this a real estate investment trust or is it a small landlord?
They're investors.
Okay.
It's an investor group.
Somewhere in between. For them to profit, they must understand they don't know the laundromat business. They don't understand the laundromat business.
They're not concerned about knowing the laundromat business.
Mm-hmm.
It's an investment. They took over the laundromat. They did repairs and they want to sell it. They're not claiming to know it.
Right.
Nor are they interested in knowing it.
I'm just stating facts.
Like you said,
and
that's
I'm not
not
trying to
the
argue
work that they're in.
Sure. I don't want to argue.
Yeah,
with
they're
you.
not. They're not worried about.
We're both on the same
experts
side
in
of this.
laundromat.
Sure. We're both on the same side
yeah.
of this. But the guy you have on the phone is, and I don't use the word expert. I know a little something about a little something. So that being said, I don't want this to turn argumentative. Not at all. You've got a job to do. If they want to, we've both established they don't know anything about running a laundry. That's why they're not running it. They swept their way out, cleaned it up, took nice pictures of it, and said, hey, here's a potential business to run. But I know enough about laundries that the way it sits, it's not going to be profitable. It's the same laundromat it was with different paint and floors when the previous guy failed. And trust me, if they were doing $50,000 a month in a store that size, they wouldn't have walked away. The nail in the coffin is always the money you're not making. And I don't expect you to agree or disagree. If they want to profit from this disposition, we're interested in signing a 15 or even a 20-year lease. That $100,000 that they owe on the equipment, the loan that they took over, that's a good investment. Because if we do a reasonable rate of rent for Compton and we sign this thing with you, we're going to retool it right away. I don't want to have to fix that equipment. It's too old. Stainless steel always looks good, but that equipment, the SKUs on that equipment, it's too old. What do I mean? I could probably keep that stuff running. Spit, vinegar, and Band-Aids, but that's not how you run a profitable business. The consumer doesn't want to do it. Again, I'm not going to go in the weeds. Here's my offer. We're interested in taking you out of your brokerage shoes, having you wear a different hat, and talk to the landlord about leasing this space long term. Now, they're going to get $300,000, but it's going to come in the form of future rent. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
There you go. We are
You're
a player.
trying to basically take over. You want to take over and not pay anything and just put it in form of future rent.
Absolutely.
So you just want to take over.
Because I've done it 36 times. And I'm interested in doing it yet
Okay.
again. So,
Okay.
that being
Do me a
said,
favor. Send
I will do you all
Uh-huh.
the favors, Judy. We're friends.
send me an email with your information and the conditions you're putting, so I can basically sit down with them with those conditions and see what they tell me.
Let me stop you. I'll send you an email. It's just going to be a general how do you do. I'll put some pictures of my before and afters of my locations. I will CC my partner. Okay. I'll do that. But it won't be a proposal because I need to know one thing, and you can answer this. What's the square footage of two things? What's the square footage of the laundromat?
The laundromat, I want to say it's about 2,400 square feet.
Okay. And I know that's a good
I don't,
footprint
again,
for
I don't
us.
have the file in front of me, so I
Sure.
don't, I
Okay.
can't be specific right now.
Now, of your other tenants, the fruteria, the bodega, the tax office, really one is still long-term. That's not my concern. I'm not buying property right now. I ran you through the primrose path when it comes to all that information because as a tenant, I want to know what the makeup is of my neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
The laundromat would be spending below market. We would be leasing this space for less than the other tenants. Do you know why? Yes or no question.
No, I don't know why you're saying that.
Because unlike the fruteria that buys something at the store, hopefully they get it wholesale, they squish it in a machine, they sell it. Unlike the tax office, which is a service, you've got a couple tax professionals in there that have all the wits about them, that have gone to college, I hope, that have sharpened pencils and they help people with stuff they don't understand. Unlike any of those other, beauty salon, same thing, service. Unlike any of those, I have to put new equipment in my store every 7 years if I hope for profit, because I don't pray for profit. That's a
So
very
you're trying to
costly
go in.
endeavor.
Okay, sorry about the
Not at all.
interruption.
No, not at all.
Go ahead.
I'm interested in this space because of the infrastructure. That's me laying my cards on the table. Your landlord didn't have to do anything to the space. They didn't have to paint the walls or redo the floors. They didn't have to fix the equipment because the equipment is not a viable business as it sits. Sadly, I could run it for 6 or 7 months until I get my new equipment in, and I plan to do that. But their $100,000 is a loss leader to get a good long-term tenant in place. One more question before I email you. Judy, are you the decision maker? Do you also negotiate leases for the group?
I do negotiate leases, but I'm not the final decision maker.
Okay.
It's going to always come back to the investors.
Sure. Okay. But my point is, and I like your style. My question is, not my point, if there's someone else that we at some point get on the phone with, because I'm very, very passionate about laundries. That sounds silly saying it, but I am, because you can do one thing wrong, like have a card reader system in the store, and it'll blow you out of the water. You're done. You won't earn. Because to me, it seems like a great concept. To the distributors that sell them, it's a great idea. You can do sales like you said. You were selling me on something then, but doing a wash for 79 cents on Tuesday doesn't help me because it still won't bring customers in. We still have to sell gas, water, and like they used to give away, I don't know how old you are, I'm not going to ask. You never asked that of a lady, but remember Blockbuster? 99-cent Tuesdays, movie rentals, right? Because nobody wanted to watch a movie on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Some of these machines, just so you know, they are coin operated because there was a clientele preference.
Yeah.
So they did switch them out to coin operated.
They need to be both, and that's the funny thing. Again, I could go on and on ad nauseum. Years ago, it was only coin.
They do have those two options, which is a good thing in the system. But I do know that in the past, some of them were either or, and that was one of the things that the owner operator had stated, that it's better if they had both options because of the consumer preference.
Well, look, there's always an excuse for anyone's failure. If you ever eat at a horrible restaurant, I'm asking rhetorical questions I know the answer to. I want a medium rare ribeye and they serve it well done with a fly on it, I'm going to say, oh boy, I'm never coming back here. And then they'll say, well, I think I need to fix my atmosphere. My ferns need water. No, I go to a restaurant to eat, and the atmosphere, the service, and the food, of those three things, the food is the most important. And in a laundromat, the equipment is the most important. That's why people leave the house, to get clean clothes. I think that you and I are going to get along splendidly no matter what. What I am going to do is ask you one more question. We know the approximate square footage. What is the lease rate? And whatever that is, our offer would be below. But what are you asking for rent here?
When you send me the email, I can go into the system and send you the lease amount.
Okay.
But I'm not even in the office right now anymore, so I'm not in the field.
Judy, that's
so
the only thing you said.
To respond.
That's the only thing you said that gives me pause. Now, you don't know what your lease rate is in this building? Come on.
For this unit, no, because remember that I have to go into the previous financials to look at what they were charging the previous tenant.
All right.
And then because right now it's the owner operator, so they're not paying any lease on it.
Got it.
Basically.
Well, they should be allocating rent. Sure. No argument. No argument. You and I can go round and round on this, and perhaps we do a deal, maybe we don't. I don't give a shit who buys this building because I'm going to have a lease in place. And let me say this in parting. We sign a lease with you. We retool this store. It might take us a year. I'm going to look for rent abatement. I'm going to need help from you with TI probably. The air conditioning needs to be delivered in good order. You know all of that. You understand that. I'm not going to spend $500,000 and not have some help. All of that being said, imagine this with me. A year from now, you can sell this building for $4 million because you've got all of the good tenants in place, and the laundromat is the anchor. Right now, it's not the anchor. Right now, it's a shell of a business because the landlord is the operator. If you have a good long-term lease, even if it's a below market rate, imagine that parking lot lit. We do coat drives in the winter, barbecues in the summer, because a laundromat is a community service. Judy, I'm going to send you an email.
That's great marketing.
It's just the truth, my friend. What's your email address?
Yeah.
Now, are you Italian by marriage?
My last name is Spanish.
All right.
Descendancy.
I'll let you off
from
the hook.
Spain.
Got it. Even better. I was just in Barcelona for 2 weeks. My God. Absolutely beautiful. You ever been?
No, not yet.
You need to go.
I actually was set to go last year and they canceled all our flights.
There we go. Judy, I like your style.
So
I'm
I get to do it.
I'm going to send you a little email. I want you to talk to the group in the Monday meeting and say, look, your words, not mine. I have a very strong operator. I'm going to put words in your mouth. Can't help myself. I got a strong operator. I think this is the way to go. I don't know. You're my mouthpiece because I don't know them. God bless. Have a good night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks for calling. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, I have to say that was the best discussion with a broker I've ever had, because she's not really a broker, right? She gets a pass because she is not solely a soulless business broker who will sell you not only a laundromat, but also a nail salon or a national chain or yogurt shop. She ain't that, right?
Right.
But, dude, this was quite a discussion. And at any point, it started, look, when you're negotiating, you're fishing. I never understood as a kid why my dad let the fish run. Never got it. I was like, just reel it in. Just reel it in. Got to let them run to tire them out. That whole zzz as the fish is getting further and further away from the boat, that always made me mad. I was a child. I want the fish. There's nuances to it. Did you notice at some point she started to get angry?
Yeah.
That's when
Yeah.
you let him run. Let her go. If this was a no deal, and I'm famous for having short 1-minute videos where the landlord steps to me and they say something stupid, or it's not the landlord or whatever, and I say, yeah, go F yourself. And that's not ever going to be a deal. But
Right.
my brother, you hired me to negotiate for you, and she's the one. It's not the landlord. We know who they are. We know the group because we called and they said, no, call my broker. We're going to keep them at arm's length because they said, talk to her.
Sure. Okay.
Do some speaking here. I'll just ask a question. What do you think? What happened? I know it was a long discussion, but how was that?
You definitely got all the information about the strip mall, like how they're thinking about. You understood, like, I guess the bigger picture for them, it was to sell the building as a whole. And at the end, you were able to say, like, now imagine this, like a really nice laundromat, literally at the center of the strip mall, anchoring you down, and then, creating that image. And then, she was sold into it. She said, that's great marketing, right?
I know I did. Yeah, that was nice of her. She was giving me a compliment, not on how I market the laundromat or how you will market the laundromat, but she was giving me a compliment on, I think what she meant to say is great salesmanship on my part, right? And that's why I said, well, I'm not selling shit. Yeah, I appreciate that. It goes back to being 52 years old. You're younger than me. I don't expect you to be able to get on the phone and talk like this. She knows. The point when she started to get angry is when I was going on and on ad nauseum about laundromats and the way they work, and that these people fucked up because they should not have installed a card reader system. They didn't know that. They thought, oh, if we're going to sell it, we'll take this old equipment, we'll paint the floors, and we'll put in a card system. But a real operator doesn't want that. Never for your first store. When you've got 7 locations, we'll talk about it. And that's when she got mad. That's when the turning point was, well, I'm not claiming to be some professional, nor are they. Oh, okay. She's close with them. You could tell. She knows this group. All right. You want to stay on with a minute here and talk to the people on the YouTube machine?
You got it.
All right. And then we'll get the hell out of here. Mr. Miraz says, just purchased the course, ! I'll be watching the videos and take notes. Don't take notes. Silly. Hopefully talk to you soon, Danny. I came across an opportunity today. I love that word. That word turns we Americans off, doesn't it? Opportunity. Judy said it. And she said it early on. She said this is an opportunity. You know why she wants to sell the laundromat more than anything? Do you?
She just wants to get rid of it, I imagine, because
no,
they're burning
it's because
money.
Dude, she fell lockstep into the questions and answers period. Why do you want a business? Profit. If she sells that laundromat, she's going to make more than she would if she sells the whole building, period.
Oh, I see. Yep.
Got to remember, dude, everybody's a squirrel.
Yep.
You can finish that in the comments of the YouTube video. Tampa team says, I like how you squeeze in life. I like how you squeeze in life advice. It's all gold. Thank you, Danny. Thank you. That means a lot. I wish I knew who you were, but your name is Tampa team. Erwin says, oh, Los Angeles, first store, got 1 year free rent. Second store, 1. And then he died. This is an opportunity to understand that I have been doing this for a very long time. Not on YouTube, not live. I had to be drugged, kicking and screaming into doing the lives. And people said, my God, just do it. Sometimes they fall flat. What if Judy didn't answer the phone? Okay, not the end of the world. We'll call her tomorrow. But she did. We talked. And I went on a fishing expedition. I took a $300,000 price tag. And the problem that people have, and Abid will attest to this, they try to get them down to 100. And they settle on 150. I asked her what they owed on the equipment, and she told me.
Yep.
They're trying to make $200,000 because they painted the place.
Yeah.
When I put it into those terms, it doesn't make any goddamn sense because it doesn't make sense. They don't deserve that. Oh, I know how much work they put in. She probably runs the tax office. She's probably there every day. I could make 20 minutes out of every question. That's what I do. It's in the process, actually. I had a bad accident, reason why my credit score was affected. Okay, thanks. And I want to say this. Sadly, our credit, in this country anyway, is how we are judged many times. So A, fix it, or B, completely circumvent any reason you ever need it. I know plenty of multimillionaires many times over still have great credit, or don't, or somewhere in between, and it doesn't matter. Someone yelled the other day, why I talk about 0% interest rates. I drive new cars. Danny, if you have millions of dollars, why would you have a loan on your car? Help me out. Why wouldn't I? At 0%, they're giving me free money. You give me 4 years to make a payment on a thing, I'll take it, as long as it costs me nothing. On the other end, Shelly's yelling at me about, use this card when you buy these things because we get more miles. Top says, how do we get back on good terms with a landlord after having a bad argument? Who cares? The word landlord, who are they? Looming over you? Who gives a shit? Don't think they have something you want. It's the other way around. And secondly, go on to the next door. If you're saying that and you mean us, meaning you and I, email or text me that question. Because, guys, I don't know who Tops 22 is. I don't know who C-Spawned is. I don't know who these people are. Lost in Time 86 says, is this really live? Hello? Let me check. No, I don't know. Maybe you don't watch people live on YouTube talk to landlords, but that's me. Abid, what time is it in California right now?
4:26.
There you go. So start your engines. System loading, I think that's a cute name for a YouTube handle. Would you ever recommend on buying the real estate along with the laundromat? I know that the banks are wary due to the environmental issues caused by the chemicals. Wrong. We'll go backward. The banks are not leery about chemicals in a laundromat at all. That's dry cleaners. And bro, dry cleaners got nothing to do with laundromats. The word clean isn't even in one of them. It's laundromat. So the perk chemical, you're right. You're wrong about the other. Would I recommend buying real estate? Absolutely. I ended up with X amount of strip malls in my own personal journey, and I did it with those landlords. But here's the thing. Judy's trying to sell a $3.4 million building without an appraisal? Fuck you. No thanks. Are you going to buy it? Is the bank going to give you the money, or you have the cash to pay her for it? It's silly. That's why I asked those questions. And I don't need to unleash holy hell on her and tell her how wrong she is, because she's not just a broker selling a building and or a laundromat. She's also the realtor's rep. Pardon me, the landlord's rep.
Right.
I'm all for buying dirt. Yes, but don't give a thin red cent for the laundromat. If the building appraises for $1 million, give them 900,000 or 300,000. Give them 299. You just made a good deal, but don't give them 4 because there's a laundromat that happens to be there. Lost in Time says, what chemicals? I'm with you, dude. I click on a thing and then it puts people's things. Oh, God. Ask if the appraisal is based on sales comparison or income approach. I think this was during my discussion when people were throwing out what I should say. I did say that in a way. And I'm not trying to go over anybody's heads when I make these calls. If Judy can become a potential friend and can give a beat a lease, it's my job. I hate the word job. It's my vocation. Run fast. I even wonder if they are triple net leases. Danny hits it out of the park again, says Jaime. Thank you, Jaime. Donnie D. Okay. Someone, I don't know why they're doing. Dems should stop paying on that junk, not into equipment tossed. Yo, Danny D'Angelo, says Mike. Hi. Yo, you spelled my last name wrong. There's an apostrophe and a capital A. Donnie says, that was great. She'll go to dem guys and say, you're all nuts trying to sell the place when I got a guy that wants it for free. I told you, dude, start using proper language or I'm just going to take you off the channel. Just annoying me personally. What do you think, Abid? Say thumbs down and I'll delete him right now.
Thumbs down.
We'll give, oh shit. Donnie, it's your last chance. Road Jangle says 61 people on your live today, Danny boy. It's a total of 322 views, bro. I'm not about clicks. I'm not about how many people, but I will say this. To think that currently 70 people are watching this live, it means the world to me. Because these aren't 70 people that are being entertained by this. These are 70 people that are learning from this. My channel says it's educational, and I mean that. Maybe I'm not an educator, but my goal is for you to learn something every time. And someone even said on this call, personal tidbits, things of that nature. You want to learn from someone who has done it, who has made mistakes, and watch out for their vested interest in what they are doing and what they are teaching. Do they sell equipment? Are they in the bag for a certain distributor? All of that. I'm in a very, very, very small niche here, guys. Very small. There are people on the YouTube machine who don't own a single solitary laundromat and claim to be experts, so be careful. Ivan says, Dani D, hinder voice. See, I did it for you. Ivan here, just signed a lease and they required a financial statement and credit report. No big deal for me, but looks like some landlords now require that. Love the channel. And Ivan, I assume that lease wasn't for a laundromat. Maybe we can get to you in reference to that. Another great t-shirt, Danny. Well, thank you, Andrew. I wore it just for you. Lost in Time says, boot him off. Steve says, as always, Danny, thank you. Appreciate that. Every comment, good, bad, or indifferent, means something to me because you're taking the time to write it. So that's a big deal for me, taking the time to write. When we dump this thing off, the top chat and the live chat will all go away. So do me the favor, comment in the video. Everybody that's on here, let's see 70 comments. Last time I asked, how should I sign off? Eli says, Danny's like the bartender to Angel Clarence in It's a Wonderful Life. We don't need no characters in this joint. I'm gonna throw a lasso around the moon. How's that sound? If you don't watch It's a Wonderful Life at Christmas time and get a tear in your eye, you're dead inside. Guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for being here. Give us a little thumbs up. It'll make you feel better. Make sure you've subbed. Abid, I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to send that email and I'm going to CC you.
Yep.
Tell the people on here what they need to do.
Go out there and do the work. Scout the laundromats. They're there.
As long as they stay out of Compton.
It could be a gold mine in terms of laundromats.
Oh, yeah.
It's according to you.
People got to do the laundry.
Indeed. Danny, before you sign off, could I speak to you like once you're done with the YouTube?
Is it about your apartment?
Yep.
No, I want to do it live.
You got it. All right. Basically, in terms of negotiation, they just emailed me a price and a DocuSign, and then a move-out date being December 1st. I haven't responded nor looked at the DocuSign.
God, you're terrible at this. Nobody at home knows. So you live in an apartment in LA County somewhere, and they put a tagged a notice on your door and said, we are the new owners, the new landlords, and we want you out.
Yes.
Basically.
They want me out. And
because they're going to level the place, they're going to put in an ice cream parlor, or they're going to turn it into condos. Do you even know what they're going to do?
So they're saying that they're going to do construction, like they're going to redo the plumbing and add more units, add more residential units. And
All
during
right, so
that time,
so it's nothing that you did, and it's not
No.
the city saying or the state saying we need to level this place to put a railroad track through. It's the landlord saying we are going to rezone and or we don't want to make more money for us, and we want you and every other tenant the fuck out.
Yep, that's
Okay.
exactly right.
And you're just a lease, you're a renter.
Yep.
And when you told me this early on, I said, go talk to every other renter there and form a coalition and ask for $1 million a piece because you might get 500K. You never know. You know, you don't know what they're doing. So bring me up to speed. What did you do? Very, very briefly, what have you done and what did you do thus far?
Yeah, so several tenants and I, the ones that were month to month, being the majority of them, we all got together and discussed like when, what are your thoughts on doing this? Are you all trying to stay? I think we all agreed ultimately, like we'd like to leave because they're kind of using like intimidation tactics.
Now, wait a minute. I remember this. You're month to month. How do you even have a leg to stand on? I think because the landlord, and you must wonder, I think I told you this, because you don't have to leave. The fact that they interjected this thing and said, we want you to leave, now you can become a squatter, and they don't want that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
How did you have this meeting? Did you go to Dunkin' Donuts or how'd you do it?
So we all neighbors, like, we all kind of knocked on each other's door, created like a text group, created a group via text, and then we all agreed to meet in the courtyard. And then, we were all just listeners.
You just sat there with signs that said, we ain't leaving right there in the courtyard. Good for you. Not yet.
Yeah. But I know one of the tenants, they wanted to get out, and then they said they negotiated with with the party representing the landlords, and they got a decent size offer.
How much?
I don't know the number.
Okay.
That I don't know. But I do know what some people were offered verbally.
What were they offered verbally?
So one of my colleagues was offered 85. She countered with 85K verbally, and then he was offered, and then he said, we don't like having to do back and forth, but we can do 50, for example.
So is she on month to month?
She's a month to month, but she's been there like for almost 2 decades, so she's been there for quite some time.
Who cares? Doesn't matter if you moved in last month. The fact that she is ensconced there is what matters, not how long she has been ensconced there. Dude, you're sitting now. If I remember, you were kind of like, well, what can I do? And you're looking at the very least a $50,000 paycheck. Do they know that you've gotten together with other folks?
No.
Oh, okay.
They don't.
Yes or no question. The answer is no. Get everybody's email. Have you been emailing someone on the other side of this?
Just the party that's representing the landlord.
Yeah. Okay. Here's your next step, and we'll put a tack in this.
Yeah.
Get the emails from everybody in your little band of merry men and women, your whole little conglomerate. You're not going to have to chain yourselves to a tree or super glue yourselves to the backhoe when they show up to break ground. You're going to put how many of you talked to?
There's, at the time, maybe about 3 weeks ago, it was 6 people, but now I think there's only like about 3 that haven't really begun negotiations.
Okay.
So a 10-unit spot.
Get every single person that you can in one thread and email the guy back that you want $200,000 apiece.
Okay.
When they see all of those emails, don't tell them whose unit number it is. You could put my email in there. They don't know that I'm not a tenant. How many people live in the complex?
10.
Okay. And you have 8 out of 10 in your group, or all of them?
We did at a certain point. It's getting less and less every day because I think people are taking the
oh Jesus.
taking the They're
Do
taking
they?
the offers.
They need to be aware that
Putting it-
$50,000 is on the table.
Yeah.
All right. And now give me a huge pat on the back because you and I have been talking about this for some time and it's not my job and I could tell you to go F off, but I love it and I appreciate you and I can't help myself. You know, it comes down to negotiating. I want to help you negotiate. People don't even realize if your family farm is about to go under because the government wants to put a train track through it, you don't have to go.
Yep. Right.
You have to get the right amount of moolah. And these guys are probably going to level that place and put up a high rise.
Yep.
You have a $50,000 check just about guaranteed. But there's safety in numbers. As soon as you can, get everybody together. And it sucks that some of those people are like, F you, I took the money. Because
Right.
you're stronger together. When they see the whole group that you guys have been talking, forget about it. Because they don't live there. They're in some ivory tower. They're not looking down on you.
Yeah. Okay.
Include
So all of them, same email. Just
Yeah.
respond to the landlord. We want
CC everyone's email that's in this group, the holdouts, if you will, and say, look,
Okay.
we're ready to walk. You don't need to even explain what you need the money for. You need it for relocation, et cetera, a down payment on a new apartment, 200 grand.
Okay.
And why are you saying 2? Because that's how you get to 1.
Okay.
Bye.
I'll do that. Thank you, Danny. Bye.
Later. All right. I already said goodbye to you kids. Ciao.